Texas is the biggest battleground state.
And in 2020, we have the opportunity to turn our state blue up and down the ballot.
We have the opportunity to
guests on today, but we're also going to get excitement from around the country. So I'm so excited to have these guests on. Our first one. So everybody buckle up, get ready to get motivated to vote if you haven't already. We're going to learn things and I'm excited. Hey!
Hey!
How's it going?
Great. Well, I'm Candy from Oregon, the Democratic Party of Oregon. It's nice to see everyone. How are things down there? I know you guys have been working really hard.
Oh, it's crazy down here. You know, we've had the most votes casted in Texas history already, and we still have a day. We haven't even hit election day.
Which is amazing. It's incredible.
I'm so excited about it. It's so cool seeing everybody turning out to vote. You know, young people are voting now. You know, we have such a diversity in the state of Texas. And it's so great to get to everybody actually share their voice and really create a Texas that represents the people. And I'm just so excited this year to have that opportunity and be part of the team.
Yeah, well, awesome. Well, I'm really excited to be here. I know we'll hear from some other folks from other states today too. Our state parties, as you know, and as I hope folks watching know, have been working for the last 4 years, 8 years, 20 years to lay the groundwork for the work we've got to do in the next 3 days and build that infrastructure. And it's just really exciting to see it come to fruition. So I know every state has some different stuff they're working on right now. You know, here in Oregon, we're really lucky because we've had vote by mail for decades and we do universal vote by mail. So that's something that, you know, in this pandemic, we haven't had to worry about, right? All of our voters know how to vote by mail. They know how it works. They get their ballot in the mail, and we have automatic voter registration here. So as soon as you turn 18, the next election, you'll get your ballot, which is really exciting. But I know that we've been fighting a lot against the misinformation that's out there about vote by mail because it's under attack this year, which we've never had to deal with before because it's such an easy and great way to vote. So down there, I know you folks have been going through some things, and for us, you know, our big message to voters is get that ballot in, get that ballot in a drop box. It's too late to put it in the mail. If you've got one in your hand, put it in a drop box. And in Texas, you're done with early voting, right? So it's just election day now?
Yeah, yesterday was our last day of early vote. So if you haven't gone in Texas, you got to go on Tuesday.
Great. And if people have ballots that they got in the mail, they can put it in their drop boxes, right?
Exactly. So you definitely want to get that ballot in a drop box. If you haven't done that, it's too late to vote by mail for mailing it. We don't want to be cutting it close. We want to make sure we count every vote. And then you can always go in person on Tuesday. And you can find your polling location at mytexasvotes.com. It's really simple. And who knows, there might be a polling place right around the corner from you.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, here in Oregon, we're really lucky because we've had a Democratic House and Senate, which is awesome. We've worked really hard to do that. But as folks in Texas and across the country probably saw in the news last year, our Senate Republicans walked out the last 2 cycles and basically put our legislature as a standstill. So we couldn't pass climate change legislation. We couldn't pass forest management legislation. And then we had a summer of just unprecedented wildfires. You know, entire towns in Oregon were decimated by these wildfires. I live just outside of Portland, and my house was in an evac zone, which is insane, right? This is something that's spread across our entire state. And I'm a 5th-generation Oregonian, and I've never seen or heard of anything like it. So for us, our big battle right now is to make sure that we give our Senate and House Democrats quorum-proof majority so that they can do the work that they were elected to do. And I know you folks have been working really hard to flip the Texas House. I was actually down there in December before the pandemic and was really excited to see the great work you folks are doing. So I know for me on election day, I'm obviously excited about, electing Kamala and Joe and, winning back our statewide seats and getting our people back to Congress. But I'm also excited to see state houses flip across the country. And in Texas is someplace we'll definitely be looking at. So.
Absolutely. There's a lot of excitement happening all across the country with Democrats. And it's so cool to have opportunities like this to really talk to other people that are working so hard in other places and to hear what you guys are going through. Like the fires must be something, crazy to be calculating into this wild time already. And it is such a fun kind of not fun, but it's interesting to think about what every Democrat has to do across the country to really make sure we come together and elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris this election.
Yeah. Well, I know we've got some other folks to hear from. If you're in Oregonian and you're on here or really anywhere, the most important thing you can do in the next few days is get on the phones if you haven't voted yet and help us make sure people are turning out to vote. If you're an Oregonian who was displaced by the wildfires and you need help figuring out how to cast your ballot because you didn't get it in the mail or have any other questions, you can go to ordemsvote.org to get all the info. And we're really excited to work with all the folks you're going to hear from today to deliver it home for Joe and Kamala in a couple of days.
Well, thank you so much for this time that we had together, and good luck out there.
Thanks, you too.
All right, well, that was our first guest. We now will be having another state party join us. These people are also in some really exciting races. We're going to switch coasts here, and we're going to head over to the East Coast with our great friends from the lovely state of North Carolina. I'm so excited to have them on as well, to hear about the election and to hear about their exciting races. Like, I know there's a governor race. And hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Lord Pedro. I'm the political director for North Carolina Democratic Party. Happy to be here.
So I'm happy. So you guys have some exciting races. I know you guys have a governor race. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are working our tails off to make sure that we reelect Governor Roy Cooper. We're very excited about what he's been doing in the last 4 years as governor, fighting to expand Medicaid, equal pay for equal work, and just making sure that everyone across North Carolina has an equal say in government. So we're really excited.
Yeah, it sounds like some really great work that you guys are doing. It's so important to hold those seats that we already have. And you guys are really putting the ground game in. So what challenges do you think North Carolina voting has encountered during this cycle?
Well, we understand that voter suppression is a real thing in North Carolina. As many folks know, in many years since the Republicans have been holding the power in the legislature, they've done everything they can to make sure that less voters turn out. And so North Carolina has always just been that sort of state, but we continue to work with our efforts to making sure that people are motivated to go out and vote. And also we're making sure to work tirelessly so that people understand what is at stake in this election. Thankfully, there are many opportunities here in this election in particular where voter suppression was sort of lifted in a way, not all the way, of course. Voters aren't required to show an ID unless you're registering to vote for the first time here in North Carolina. And then also we've extended on more early voting dates. Across the state, today was actually the last day to early vote in North Carolina, and we had a total of 17 opportunities, 17 days. So super excited about the numbers, and we're going to do everything we can to turn out on Tuesday.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so important to have that extra voting days. With such a crazy time this year in election, we need to stay as safe as possible. And
Right.
It was so great to see people capitalize on that time. But again, if you haven't gone yet, you can still go on election day. Nobody can sit home this election. We got to make sure our voices are heard. And from everywhere across the country, we got to make sure Joe and Kamala get to that White House.
For sure.
What's something that you're really excited about in this election for North Carolina?
So North Carolina has the third longest ballot in the nation. And so we're really excited to not only elect Governor Cooper, send Cal Cunningham to the United States Senate, elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but also making sure that we hold our majorities in our statewide judicial benches as well, and making sure that we break the majorities in both the House and the state Senate to ensure that we can move North Carolina forward. Because in North Carolina in 2021, if we don't have a seat at the table in the legislature, then the Republicans can redraw maps for the next 10 years here in North Carolina. So we want a seat at that table. We are super excited about not only focusing about Joe and Kamala up in the top of the ticket, but making sure that everyone up and down the ticket gets elected.
Absolutely. That's so interesting. I didn't know you guys had such a long ballot. And it's so important that we go from the top of the ticket all the way down and get our Democrats in. We can't afford to lose any state house, any local government. Joe Biden's definitely leading our ticket, but we want everyone behind it. He's got to have a full army in there.
Yeah, we're really excited.
All right, well, thank you so much for this time. We really appreciate it. And I know you guys are working till the very last minute, so we'll be right around with you, and we'll be there for your victory day as well.
Thank you so much. Y'all take care now.
See ya. All right, we do have another exciting guest coming on. The fun hasn't stopped yet. I'm so excited to hear more about them as well. We're going now to the middle of the country. We're going to hear from our great friends in the great state of Missouri. And we're going to hear what they've been going through and how they've been having. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Good. You want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, yeah, I'm Sadie. I am the digital manager for the Missouri Democratic Party. I'm super jazzed to be here. Texas is like the blueprint for excellent digital.
Well, we really appreciate that.
So, well,
I'm so happy to have you on. So can you talk about some things Missouri's been going through, some things you've had to adapt as you've been in this crazy election cycle?
Yeah, it's been, a tough 4 years. We, in 2016, had every office, I think, except one statewide was held by Democrats, and now we just have one statewide Democrat left. We lost our one Democratic Senate seat. It's been a tough 4 years, and having almost exclusively Republicans running our state has been kind of a mess. Difference between
yeah, I mean, I think there's. Oh, keep going.
Oh, sorry, I got a low battery notification, so it paused for a second. But we have a Republican supermajority in both houses. Voting's super difficult here. Our AG is one of the folks in a lawsuit to try to dismantle the ACA. So this is like a super important election in terms of kind of taking our state back and bringing back common sense leadership to our state. So there's a lot at stake here.
Definitely. And are you guys done with early vote?
So we actually don't have early voting. That's another one of the rough things in our state. So we have in-person absentee voting, which is the same as early voting, except that you need an excuse, which is really frustrating. And they've made it more complicated this year than usual. They've opened it up a little bit, which is good. And they've added some categories to the acceptable excuses. But there's also mail-in voting, which is different than absentee voting in our state. Our Secretary of State has made voting really complicated, and that's a deliberate effort to suppress the vote, which is really frustrating. So we've got a lot to work up against, but I'm very excited about the energy we've been seeing in our state.
Definitely. And where can people go to find out more information about voting in Missouri if they're really looking to make sure they can get their vote counted?
For sure. Go to showmevotes.com. Showmevotes.com. I think .org also works, but .com is the one that I usually use.
Awesome. Well, I think it's so important that we're having these conversations. It is a full country effort to make sure we can help people vote. Nobody should be getting their vote suppressed. Nobody should be having to jump through hoops and confusing ideas to just be able to voice their opinion. And that's why it's so important that we have Democrats up and down the ticket getting elected into these positions so they can actually represent what people truly feel and actually listen to their constituents instead of just making it harder for people to really participate in our amazing democracy. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm really excited about the Democrats we have on the ticket that are running to make our government way more transparent. Our state auditor is our gubernatorial nominee. Her name's Nicole Galloway. She has recovered, I think, almost $370 million in government fraud and waste. So she's been absolutely wonderful at making our government work properly, and I can't wait to see what she does with the governorship. We also have a great nominee for Secretary of State. His name's Yinka Falati. He's a veteran. He is an attorney, and he is going to make, he's our Attorney General nominee. My bad. Get the statewide all mixed up, but he's going to make our state, he's going to take us out of unreasonable lawsuits that threaten our pre-existing conditions protections, among many other wonderful things.
And you guys have some pretty cool U.S. House rep people running as well.
Yes, yeah. They actually just this week, Inside Elections, upgraded the Mo 02. It's currently represented by Ann Wagner, who's a Republican. Jill Shoup, she's a state senator. That race was just upgraded to Tilt Democratic, which is super exciting. It's great to see that momentum in the St. Louis suburbs, and Jill Shoup's amazing. It's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, there's some really cool Missouri representatives I'm really excited about. Definitely go check them out on Instagram. I feel like they're really active in their communities and really going to bring some fresh perspective that's so needed in DC. And I'm so excited they're coming from Missouri. I feel like it's really, the dead heat of the country. So
yeah, absolutely. It's I think it's important. I'm glad other people agree. It's been really rewarding to get eyes kind of back on Missouri after it was really easy to dismiss us after 2016 and 2018. So it's exciting that we've kind of brought it back to the forefront and made it a battleground state again.
All right. Well, awesome. Well, I really appreciate this time. We're so excited to have you. We're going to be cheering you on, and we're excited to see you on Victory Day as well.
Thank you so much for having us. If you want to call voters in Missouri to turn them out to the polls, head to mobilize.us/Missouri. Have a good one. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having us. Or being on. All right. The fun's not over, people. We have another amazing state come to join us. Let's just, here they go. Another exciting race. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Good. Can't complain.
All right. Do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, my name's Mandy. I'm a field organizer for the New Mexico Democrats, and I'm super excited to be here. They're like, do you want to do something with that?
Yes, we are neighbors. You're going now, but you'll be all right. Let's see, I'll go buffering. But it is exciting to have our neighbors from New Mexico. There's a lot of things that we share, not just a border. We also have several same food types. We share some awesome restaurants as well. Hey, are you back?
I'm back. I think so. Sorry, New Mexico has terrible internet service.
Well, I think that's something that, the pandemic's really showing us how crucial broadband is. And I feel like that's really on the election. Could you talk about something that the New Mexico Democrats have done to kind of overcome this crazy cycle?
Sure, absolutely. So things, as we said, have been crazy. Internet access is definitely a struggle throughout the state. We also do have a lot of pueblos and tribal lands throughout our state. So we have an excellent field program going where we're actually doing no contact lit drops in our native tribal lands and making sure those folks have all the information they need to get out to vote because we can't reach them via the internet. Some people have to drive to the end of a road that's a mile away just to get cell phone service. So we've really been working on meeting people where they're at just to make sure they get the vote out and know where they can go to vote. So trying to meet people with where they're at with what we have.
Yeah, this has been such a cool program, learning about what challenges and what obstacles state parties have done across the country to make sure people are able to really cast their ballot and voice their voice. And it's so important the work y'all are doing to make sure that we're hearing from everybody in the state. Not just the people that have access, not just the wealthy, but really have leaders that are representing the whole state as a whole. Is there some really exciting races that you're looking forward to hear about on November 3rd?
Oh, yes, I am super excited. So we have Social Torres Small. She's up for re-election. She's down in the southern border of the state. She's a native, and it's a battleground congressional election for her, but she's also part of an all women of color female, congressional delegation. So if we get her as well as Deb Haaland and Teresa Ledger Fernandez elected to Congress, that will be a first throughout the nation. So I'm super excited about that. We also have Ben Ray Lujan, who's currently in Congress, who's running for Senate, and we are looking forward to getting him elected. And we also just have some phenomenal down ballot races. Personally, in my turf, I have a county commission race that hasn't been held by a Democrat in over 16 years. And just based on primary turnout, over 1,000 more Democrats turned out than Republicans to vote in the primary. So it looks like we might be able to flip that. And it's super exciting just to see the work that we've done and the outreach we've been able to do in this crazy COVID-19 time without being able to meet in an office or knock on doors. We're still somehow getting out to vote and getting people pumped to vote for Democrats. So that's really exciting.
That is so exciting. And it's also just so important that we're voting down ballot. We got to make sure we get Democrats, not just Joe Biden, Kamala to the White House, but people in all the houses across the country. We really got to make sure that we're giving people the army they need and some super cool local elections that are so important to people living in those areas. You got to make sure you're voting for people that really are going to represent the people of New Mexico, people of Texas, and that we can hold offices across the state and up and down the belt. So I'm so excited that you told us that. All right, any last words? We got to go for our next guest. This is exciting.
No, it's really excited. Thank you for having us. If anybody's looking to help out Socha's race down in CD2, we have our entire state calling to help to make sure she gets elected. You can head to nmdemocrats.org. That's our state party's website, and you can sign up to volunteer and get involved there. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for coming.
All right, bye.
Y'all, the excitement is not over even yet. We have another awesome state that is going to be joining us. I'm really excited to hear about what they've been doing during this time. We're going back over to the East Coast. We're going up north as well. I have a feeling it's a little colder there than it is here in Texas. But while we're waiting for them, don't forget that you can volunteer for the Texas State Party from anywhere in the country on our phone banks. We need to make sure every voter is out there on Tuesday, ready to vote, knows where they're going to go to the polls, and you can help make people give them a plan. You know, it's really easy to make a plan so that you know on Tuesday where you're going, when you're going to go cast your ballot, and who you're going to bring with you. Because, guys, we need to bring everyone. We need to bring our families, our friends, our 8th grade crush. Text everybody. Nobody can sit out this election. So don't forget, head over to mytexasvotes.com to find out your closest polling location. I remember I went on there, I scrolled down, typed in my address, and there was a polling location literally 0.3 miles away from me. I got up on Tuesday, checked my 2 roommates, and we headed to the polls and just walked in. It was awesome. And I can order more. All right, our next guest is joining us. We're really excited to hear about them. It's been a crazy election cycle. Not only is this year so important because of who's currently holding all these offices, but the obstacles that we've all adapted and overcome have truly been inspiring. So I'm excited to hear about what they're doing. Hey, how's it going?
Hi. I'm
Welcome.
I'm here all the way from Maryland. We're a little further north. It is much colder. It's like 40 degrees out today. I was not emotionally prepared for the cold, but my name is Shai. I'm the digital associate for the Maryland Democratic Party.
Well, we're so excited to have you on, Shai. It's been so exciting to hear how states have really been capitalizing on some opportunities. What have y'all been doing in Maryland that's really been working well?
So our state's a little quieter this election season. We have 7 out of our 8 state, our House of Representatives are Democrats, so 7 out of 8 of them. We have Mia Mason in the 1st District running against Andy Harris, our only Republican. So we're working with Mia Mason and trying to flip that seat. And we have just one really big local election in Baltimore City. But other than that, we don't have any Senate races. We are a lot quieter this election season. So us, as the state of Maryland, we've been an export state and we've been calling swing states. Also of like I said, the elections at home, but we've been really big on calling swing states. We've called a lot into Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Maine, Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky. We've been really big on trying to get Democrats elected up and down ballot in those states.
I think that's such a good point. If you're somewhere where you feel like your state's on pretty good terms, don't forget you can call into other states. We need to get Democrats elected up and down the ticket. We need to get Joe Biden those electoral votes. So call into those places. You can call into Texas. It's a great place to call into. We're real friendly here, and you can help people plan their vote. You can help people know where to go to find their polling location, like mytexasvotes.com. And it's really exciting to make these calls too. Have you been excited to reach out to these other states and have those conversations?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've been personally calling into North Carolina a lot. I spent a little time in North Carolina earlier this year, so I know North Carolina politics a little better. And it's really nice to hear the excitement from the swing states that I don't see as much. Like on social media, I don't see that excitement as much. It's kind of like a lot more fear mongering, but like calling those voters is just so rewarding, and like having people appreciate that you're telling them how to get to their early voting location, how to get to their polling location. It's really rewarding. It's really nice.
Well, that's so great to hear. I'm so happy that you guys have been able to find such productive work and that the parties are really coming together. Democrats have got to be united more than ever this election. We got to make sure everybody's headed to the polls. Elections is Tuesday. Are you guys still in early vote, or are you waiting until Tuesday now?
Yeah, so we're still in early voting. It started on Monday and it ends on Monday. So it's basically 8 days straight of being able to vote. So if you want to find your polling location, go to iwillvote.com and you can find your early voting or your election day polling location. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So we have all day to vote. And if you have your ballot, like if you have your mail-in ballot still, there are drop boxes located around the entire state. You can drop it off at your local board of elections, or you can even drop it off at a in-person voting location.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're cheering you on as well, and we'll see you on Victory Day after everybody's gone and voted for Democrats up and down the ticket.
We'll see you on Victory Day on election night. Woo! We're close.
Let's do it. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having us.
All right, everybody. We got one last amazing guest. I'm really excited to talk to them, talk about an important race right now. Texas is the biggest battleground state, and we love talking to other states that are also really going through this fight. It's going to be up to every single person to make sure they turn out to vote, because this is going to be, your vote could be the one vote. We got to make sure you're bringing your family, you're bringing your roommates, you're heading to mytexasvotes.com. Lauren, hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? You want to say where you're from? Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Caleb. I'm actually from Texas. I didn't get my cowboy hat. I left it in the other room, sadly. I had to rush in here. But yeah, we're working for Wisconsin. We're going to win Wisconsin. We're very excited about it. Things are going great here. So yeah, glad to be here.
Excellent. So what has Wisconsin done? What's the party done to, really capitalize on this time and maybe get over some obstacles in this wild cycle?
Yeah, I mean, from day one, this campaign has been about meeting people, where they are, like, in the digital world, because it's, we want everybody to be safe. We want all of our volunteers to be safe. And, the pandemic has encouraged us to dig deeper into our strategies to do, just that. And so we're calling voters regularly to ensure they have the information they need. We have a large texting operation. It's honestly incredible. I know people don't like those texts, but, they're important people. They work. I'm telling you, just trust me. We're using digital organizing tools in new and unique ways to manage both our volunteer program and how we talk to voters. We're reaching them just everywhere they are. Young people are coming out, and it's just amazing. I'm talking about digital organizing, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, DMs, virtual house parties, email campaigns, events with our favorite elected officials. We had one with, Bernie Sanders today and Mark Pocan. Influencers, surrogates, local leaders. We got targeted voter education ads, pop culture events. We had a, DJ throwback event this week. I mean, we're energizing voters and having a good time while doing it.
I love it. I think y'all's party has been doing awesome work, really meeting people where they're at. I think that's what Democrats are really stand for. Democrats are there to help the people they're representing. They're there to help every person we're representing too. And it's so important that we get Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Democrats up and down the ticket elected. Are y'all still in early vote? Or people got to wait till election day? What's going on in Wisconsin?
Yeah, we've got early vote till November 1st, and then we've got election day, and people are, you're able to register to vote at your election site on election day and with your clerk. So, we're still encouraging people to do that. Yes, big septum piercing energy. Also big election winning energy too. So, I mean, come sign up, work with us. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all, if y'all have not gotten involved in the campaigns, it is not too late. This is when we need you the most. Sign up for a phone banking shift, call voters. That's all it takes for some people. When you make that phone call and someone's on the edge if they're going to vote and you help them plan their vote, you help them find their polling location, that's going to make the difference. That's what's going to get Joe Biden into the White House. That's what's going to bring America back on track. And it can be you making phone calls into these states, into Texas, into Wisconsin. It's so important that everybody's getting involved. If you've never been involved in a campaign, this is your sign. If you're looking for a sign, it's this. Get involved. You don't want to be waking up on day after election day thinking you should have maybe made some more effort. You know, it's people like this working in Wisconsin that really prove that we've got a shot. And we're so excited, but we gotta keep the momentum. It's no time to let off the gas now.
That's right.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you, Wisconsin, spending some time with us. And
for sure.
Do you have any last words? Where can people head to make some phone calls for you?
Yeah, I mean, we have our mobilize.us/ what is it? Man, what is it? WI Victory 2020? I don't know. I'll probably have to come back in here and send the correct link in. I'm on the spot right now. I can't remember it, so I'll be back with that link. But yeah, I mean, come make phone calls with us. You know, friend bank, vote Joe. Vote Joe is especially important, so you can reach the people in your community because you know that is going to be the difference between winning and losing on election day. And you know, the people in here, you know, I mean, I'm just so proud to be in this fight with all of you, and it's really the difference, all of us. So yeah, I mean, keep up the good fight. Help out Texas, help out Wisconsin, and you know, thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. And now we'll get back to work and make sure people are getting votes.
Let's do it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, everybody, what a ride across the country we've been on. I had a great time learning about every corner of the U.S. is out there to vote for Joe and Kamala and Democrats up and down the ticket. Texas is the biggest battleground state. Now more than ever, people should be getting involved. And if you want to get involved, head over to TXCO-GOTV. You can make phone calls from anywhere in the world for us. We appreciate everybody's time, and we are going to bring Joe to the White House. Texas has got 38 electoral votes. We're going to give them all to Joe, block any other pathway for the other guy, and we're going to win this thing. Everybody go vote on Tuesday in Texas. If you haven't already, head over to mytexasvotes.com to find your polling location. Now is the time to plan your vote. You can go right at the beginning of the polls throughout the day. Remember, if you're in line by 7 p.m., your voting can count. Stay in line until everybody gets to voice their choice in a so crucial election. Could not be more excited to be doing this with all of y'all. Let's get out there, let's win this thing, and you'll see me next time on the Texas Tea.